All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're doing a deep dive into that Champions League quarterfinal second leg.
The big one. Real Madrid versus Arsenal.
Yeah, April 17th, 2025 at the Bernabéu. We've got some great sources, ESPN Australia, The Independent's ratings and reports, plus managing Madrid's stake.
A good mix. And the goal is to figure out how Arsenal pulled off that 2-1 win on the night, right?
Exactly, which made it, 5-1 on aggregate? Just stunning. Gets them into the semis for the first time since 2009, I think?
16 years. It's huge, especially against Real Madrid, the holders, 15-time winners.
And needing a comeback, down 3-0 from the first leg.
Right. The Bernabeu must have been, electric. Hoping for one of those famous remontadas.
You know they've done it before, haven't they? 6 titles in the last 11 seasons or something like that.
Yeah, the pedigree is undeniable. But Arsenal, they turned up with confidence after that first leg demolition.
Totally. And it showed early on, didn't it? Madrid needed that fast start.
Yep. Mbappe had the ball in the net. Didn't take long.
But the flag went up. Vinicius offside in the build-up. Close one.
It was. But importantly, Arsenal didn't just, sit back. Saka tested Courtois pretty early.
Yeah, that was a statement, wasn't it? Like, we're here to play, not just defend.
Definitely set a tone. And Courtois had to make the save, kept it level for a bit.
Which leads us into that crazy period in the first half with the penalties.
Oh, yeah, the penalty drama. First up, Arsenal.
Asensio fouls Marino in the box. Looked pretty clear.
VAR checked it, confirmed it. Penalty Arsenal. Golden chance.
And Saka steps up, tries the Panenka.
Bit cheeky, maybe.
Maybe a bit too cheeky. Courtois didn't buy it. Stood his ground. Easy save.
Huge let-off for Real Madrid. You felt maybe, just maybe, that was the turning point they needed.
Could have been. Could really have deflated Arsenal. But then, moments later...
The other end. Mbappe goes down. Rice is near him.
Looked like minimal contact, really, but the ref pointed straight to the spot.
The Bernabeu went wild. Here we go, they're thinking.
But then VAR gets involved again.
And it was a long check, wasn't it? The tension was building. Whistles from the crowd.
Yeah, you could feel it. Then the ref jogs over to the monitor.
And overturns it. No penalty. Massive swing.
Absolutely massive. Real Madrid must have been furious. The fans definitely were.
So you go from a missed Arsenal penalty to a potential penalty. Real penalty waved off. All in a few minutes. Mentally, that's got to be tough.
For both sides, really. Arsenal dodged a bullet after missing their own big chance. Real felt robbed.
It really tested Arsenal's composure, I think, to not let the miss get to them and then ride out that VAR storm.
Okay, so let's skip ahead a bit. Second half starts still 0-0 on the night, 3-0 on aggregate. Madrid still needs something special.
But it's Arsenal who find the breakthrough. 65th minute.
Saka again. Makes amends for the penalty miss, doesn't he?
He really does. Played through, and it was such a composed finish. The Independent called it coolly taken.
ESPN said clinical. And that was basically game over, wasn't it? 4-0 on aggregate.
Pretty much extinguished any lingering hope for Madrid. You could feel the air go out of the stadium.
And the Independent made a good point about his mentality, right? Shaking off the miss, dealing with real players, maybe trying to get in his head.
Shows real character. Especially on a stage like the Bernabeu.
But credit to Real, they did hit back quickly, just 2 minutes later.
Yeah, Vinicius Jr. pounced on a mistake by Saliba.
Bit of a slip there from Saliba. Vinicius made no mistake, 1-1 on the night.
Gave the home fans something to cheer, briefly woke them up.
But like you said, it felt like, the sources agree, it was too little, too late.
Exactly. Managing Madrid pointed out it didn't really change the game's flow, and crucially, that was Real's only goal.
Across 180 minutes plus stoppage time. Just one goal against this Arsenal defense says a lot.
It really does. And then just to rub it in.
Late drama, added time, Martinelli.
Yeah, breaks clean through. Lovely little chip over Courtois.
The Independent called it a beautiful finish into the corner. ESPN said icing on the cake.
Perfect description. 2-1 Arsenal in the night, 5-1 aggregate. Sent the away fans wild.
Total dominance in the end. So let's dig into the why. Tactically, Arsenal's defense got rave reviews.
Oh, absolutely. Even Lucas Vazquez, Real's captain, apparently admitted how terrifically organized they were.
And Raya, the keeper, didn't even have a save to make before halftime. That's telling.
Says a lot about how well the guys in front of him dealt with everything Real threw at them. Crosses, mostly.
The Guardian pointed out how impressive that defense was, especially considering it had Timber, Kiwior, and even the teenager Lewis Skelly involved. Pretty inexperienced on paper.
But they played with such maturity. That defensive structure was the key, really. Real Madrid just couldn't find a way through consistently.
And on the flip side, what about Real's approach? Managing Madrid seemed quite critical.
Yeah, they were. Described the start as chaotic and said it quickly turned into desperation and wayward crosses.
Ouch. Sounds like they felt there wasn't much of a plan B.
Pretty much. They highlighted a lack of someone to control the game, calm things down, said the big-name attackers like Mbappe and Vinicius got very little service.
Interesting. So it wasn't just about individual errors, but maybe a systemic issue on the night?
That's the argument, yeah. A lack of coherence.
Right, let's talk individuals then. Declan Rice for Arsenal seemed like he was everywhere.
Player of the match, according to The Independent. The Guardian praised his all-round performance.
Yeah.
Just breaking up play, starting attacks.
And they said he put Bellingham fully in the shade. Strong words comparing England teammates.
Well, based on the reports, it seems fair. Rice was immense. And don't forget those 2 free kicks in the first leg that set this all up.
Good point. A massive contribution across both games. And Saka, we mentioned his goal and resilience.
The Perb run, great finish, showed his quality after the penalty miss.
Martinelli, too, got the late goal, worked incredibly hard.
He was excellent, really stretched the real defense.
Well, Real Madrid, Courtois maybe comes out with some credit, despite conceding 2.
Yeah. The Independent noted 3 good saves in the first half, plus the penalty stop. Kept the score respectable, you could argue.
Vinicius got their only goal, seen as the main threat, but still maybe below his usual standards.
That was the verdict from The Independent, yeah. Did score, but maybe wasn't consistently dangerous like he can be.
And Bellingham. Sounded like a quiet night for him?
Uncharacteristically so, yeah. Reports said Rice really got the better of him in midfield.
And Asensio, who gave away the penalty, sounded like he had a tough game overall.
Yeah. Clumsy grapple for the penalty and looked rattled, according to the reports. Not his best night.
There was also that bit of aggro at halftime in the tunnel.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
The Independent reported Carvajal, who wasn't even playing, he was injured, apparently confronted Saka, grabbed him.
Wow. Shows the frustration bubbling over in the real camp, doesn't it?
Definitely. High stakes, high emotions. And Arteta apparently spoke to Pep Guardiola before the game.
Yeah, he revealed that. Adds another layer, doesn't it? Getting some advice from his old mentor.
Always interesting, those little behind-the-scenes details.
Yeah.
Shows the level of preparation.
So bigger picture, Arsenal march on. Semifinals against PSG.
First time since 2009. And The Guardian made an interesting point. It's Arsenal versus PSG, the 2 clubs left who haven't won it yet.
So maybe the pressure shifts a bit onto PSG now as favorites in that tie.
You could argue that, yeah. That's a fascinating matchup.
And for Real Madrid. Well, the fallout seems inevitable, doesn't it? Ancelotti's future.
It's the big question. ESPN, Managing Madrid, The Guardian, they all seem to think he's likely on his way out.
Possibly to the Brazil job. That rumor's been around.
It has. And this 5-1 aggregate loss, it fuels that speculation. Feels like maybe the end of a cycle.
The criticism seems to be that reliance on stars isn't enough. Need more system.
That's the vibe. Managing Madrid even said the blame shouldn't just be on Ancelotti.
Oh, who else?
They pointed to worrying form from Bellingham, Rodrigo, Vinny Jr., Mbappe, kind of drawing parallels to the failed Galacticos.
Strong stuff. Calling it their worst Champions League exit in 5 years.
Yeah. And while they're still fighting for La Liga, you have to wonder about morale, especially with Barcelona still in the other semi.
Creates an interesting dynamic in Spain now, too. But for Arsenal, this feels like a huge mental hurdle cleared.
Definitely. The Independent really hammered that point home. Saka's response, the team holding firm, it answers questions about their fortitude.
Theo Walcott said on TV something like, mentally, they're ready for the big time now.
And Rice apparently made a Champions League vow, signaling their ambition. They believe they can win it.
So for you, the learner listening to this, what are the key things to take away?
Well, first, a super organized, confident Arsenal beat the kings of the comeback, Real Madrid, convincingly, in Madrid.
Yeah, and key moments really defined it. Saka's missed then goal, the VAR calls going Arsenal's way in the end, Martinelli sealing it.
It showed Arsenal's toughness and tactical smarts. And on the other side, Real looked out, well, short of ideas.
Facing big questions now about the manager, about the form of their stars.
And think about this. How much did those VAR calls really swing the game? Especially that overturned Real penalty could have been totally different.
It's a great what if. And what does this big win say about the power balance in Europe now? Is Arsenal's rise signaling a shift?
It's more than just the score, isn't it? It's about tactics, mentality, technology, all playing a part.
Absolutely. And the final thought maybe is, Is this Arsenal team actually capable of winning the whole thing now? Have they proven enough?
Something to chew on. Maybe you'll look deeper into Arsenal's defense or the Ancelotti debate. Lots to think about.
Definitely. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.